Hey guys, this is Carla here, and today I cross a weird real story. A mother was invited on a free cruise, but her massive panic attack ruined the trip and cost her child money. Now, a month later, she wants back in. Would you put your mom back on a boat you know she'll sink? This is gonna be crazy. Am I the a-hole for not adding my mom back to a holiday she dropped out of? I had booked a short holiday package followed by a cruise over a year in advance. Because we paying the same price for the cruise for one or two people, I asked my mom if she wanted to come for free. Wait, free? Are you kidding me? A free cruise? That's insane. That's like winning a lottery. What a great kid you are. So she would fly out a few days after me to stay with me for a night or two, then join for the cruise. She wasn't 100% certain because she was anxious about flying transatlantic on her own. Oh yeah, that big flight can be tough. I get that anxiety. That's a reasonable worry, actually. I talked her through the transfers, etc., and made it as simple for her as possible. I said I would need a final answer about 4 months before the cruise, as that was the final payment date. And any further changes, i.e., taking her off the booking, would charge a fee after that point. But obviously, I had to provide accurate information about who was coming on board. Okay, you set a super clear boundary and a deadline. Smart, smart, smart. That's good canning. The final payment date came and went. She still wasn't certain because we hadn't yet booked flights due to prices being high. We were waiting for a sale. I booked my flights about 2 months before the trip, and she seemed hesitant but booked hers. Uh-oh, she was hesitant but bought the flights anyway. Why would she buy the flights if she still wasn't sure about the trip itself? That doesn't make a lot of sense. The next day, I called the hotel to ask if they could add her name on the booking. It's a very well-known resort, and this should have been fine. But the call handler said no, she would have to buy the package. I rang my mom and said that was incorrect advice, so I'm gonna ask the Facebook community for some advice. But worst case scenario, she'd have to get a hotel elsewhere for 1 to 2 nights. So the very worst possible outcome is she has to pay for 2 nights at a hotel while still getting a free cruise that costs tens of thousands of dollars. That's not a bad deal at all. That's barely an inconvenience. She panicked and canceled her flights as it was within 24 hours. Oh my gosh, she canceled them? Seriously? That is an extreme reaction to having to possibly book a hotel for one night. She said she wouldn't risk going and wasn't prepared to look at other hotels. Really? That makes me think the flying anxiety wasn't the only issue. This just sounds like an excuse for cold Pete. I said if she cancels her flights, I'll take that she's not coming because I need to update the booking ASAP as the fee could go up the closer to the trip. She accepted that and canceled anyway, so I removed her from the booking and had to pay a small fine. She didn't offer to help or pay the fine. Wait a minute. She was the one who pulled out and you had to pay the fine for the change? Oh, come on. That's not cool at all. She should have at least paid that bit. I really struggle with plans changing. I also live for my holidays, so this was stressful for me. I am the same way. Changing plans stresses me out. And when it involves a big vacation, it's 10 times worse. That's rough. I It took a lot to get my head around going on my own, but I finally got excited to go solo. My mom never takes accountability, never apologizes, never gives emotional support, and always plays the victim. Okay, there it is. That's the key information right there. This isn't just a travel mix-up. This is a pattern of behavior you have to deal with. A month before the trip, she says she actually wants to go and is going to ring the resort and cruise to try to sort it out. She told me this, not asked. Snortleps, she told you. She just assumes she can cancel a month ago, cause you stress, cost you money, and then just tell you she's back in? The nerve. I said I'm not doing anything to help with it. Of course, then she rings me saying they can't do anything as she's not the booking owner, and can I ring them? I said no. She didn't give me an answer. When I asked, she hasn't apologized for messing me around, and she didn't help when I had to remove her from the booking. So she just asked to accept she missed the deadline. And that is the correct answer. You handled that perfectly. He made the decision. Now she has to live with it. You are not the a-hole.
Good. She's upset with me, and I'm mad that I now feel like my holiday is ruined because either I odd her back onto the booking when I now don't really want her to go because of how she's acted, or I don't and have to deal with emotional guilt tripping. That is a horrible spot to be in, having to choose between an annoying travel companion and getting guilt trips the whole time. That's brutal.
My stance is not to add her, but does that make me the a-hole? Heck no, absolutely not. You went above and beyond for her with a free truce. She had 4 months to decide. Blew through the deadline, acted completely erratically but canceling her flights for a tiny reason, and then caused you unnecessary fees and stress. She made her bed. She has to sleep in it. You are not the a-hole. Go enjoy it. You're awesome. Solo trip. You deserve a stress-free vacation.
Okay, let's read this. It sounds like there's some serious awkwardness going on with this boyfriend. I'm ready. Am I the a-hole for laughing at my mom's boyfriend for the birthday gift he gave her? Well, that title alone is a strong start. I need to know what he gave her now. Sorry for grammar, English is not my main language, and sorry for the long post. No worries at all, your English is great. Seriously, don't apologize for a long post. The details are what we need. So this happened a few years ago, but this man, I will call him Nick, still does not talk to me. I'm 25 female, and I was 23 at the time. I had my first job, and my mom's birthday was just around the corner, so I decided to gift her something bigger than I have been able to buy all of those past years. She has always liked to sew, and her sewing machine broke a few months back, so I went and found the perfect sewing machine. It had flowers on it, and she loves flowers. Seemed good quality, good reviews, etc. I ordered it, and it would arrive the next day. Aw, that is so thoughtful. A practical gift that's personal, too. You really hit it out of the park. Nick was at my house at the moment. He lives like 4 hours away by train, so he is not here often. Maybe a few days every 2 to 3 months. I had to go to work, so I told Nick that the gift was arriving that day, and I was looking around for a place to hide it. He noticed and told me that he is just going to hide it in a drawer. I told him that it would not fit, and then he asked me, what did I buy? When I told him that it was a sewing machine, he started laughing. Wait, he laughed at your gift idea? Who does that? That's so disrespectful. He said that I do not know my mother, that a sewing machine was not appropriate for a birthday gift, since a birthday gift has to be something more thoughtful and meaningful. Oh my god, the nerve of this guy, saying you don't know your own mother when he only sees her a few days every 2 to 3 months. That's just rich. I got pissed since I'm really close with my mom, and I really think I know her more than anyone else. I just left. I would be fuming too. Good on you for just walking away instead of having a huge fight. Her birthday comes, and she loves my gift. She was thinking about buying a new sewing machine since hers was broken, and she uses it pretty often, and she had her eye on the same exact model I bought. Yes, victory, happy dance. See, Nick, you were wrong. The next day, I told her what Nick said, and she said that she knew, and they argued about it. That night, we went out to have a drink with my brother, Nick, and her friends. At some point of the night, I asked my mom what Nick's gift was, and she told me that he gifted her lingerie. Yes, lingerie. A bra and a thong. Hold on, wait a second. Lingerie? After that big speech about being thoughtful and meaningful, you've got to be joking. Here's where I could be the a-hole. I started laughing my ass off, turned to Nick and told him, after that speech you gave me about sentimental value and not knowing my mother, you gave her lingerie while still laughing. That is comedy gold. I can't even blame you for laughing. That is just pure irony. I do not think anyone was paying much attention, though. They were drunk and having fun, but I still think I embarrassed him. He tried to make a point, but I just couldn't stop laughing, so he eventually gave up. Up to this day, he still does not say a single word to me since then. A couple of years later, and he's still ignoring you.
Phew, he must be seriously sensitive about being called out on the joke. When I Lovebird passed, he was 15 and I had him most of my life. Nick happened to be at my house. Not a single word about it. I know he doesn't care about birds, but he knows that my Lovebird was darn important to the family, especially me and my brother. Every time he comes, not a single hi either. Like an hour ago, I went to the living room and Nick was there with my brother. My brother said hi, and I said hi back to both of them. Nick just said, "Hi, sweetheart," to my dog that was coming behind me. Oh my goodness, that is so ridiculously petty. It's almost funny again. He's talking to the dog and ignoring you. He is definitely holding a grudge about the laughter. Anyway, was I the a-hole for laughing at him for his birthday gift to my mom? End of additional information. They have been dating for 7 years now, 5 at the time. No way, you are not the a-hole. Honestly, he deserved it. He was so incredibly smug and rude in that ear gift, which your mom actually loved, and then he went and gave her the most generic, self-serving gift possible after his whole lecture. Laughing was a completely natural human reaction to that level of hypocrisy. He's acting like a big baby by ignoring you for 2 years over a joke at his expense. That just shows he can dish it out, but absolutely cannot take it. Seriously, if he wants to be that immature, let him keep ignoring you. You didn't do anything wrong.
Wow, just reading the first sentence tells me this is going to be a heavy one. Take a deep breath. Okay, let's see what happened here. Am I the a-hole for caking over when it came to my siblings? I, 30 male, am much older than my 3 younger siblings. My parents were teens when they had me, then when I was 12, they had my first brother. Within the next 3 years, they had 2 more kids. My mom went through what I believe was postpartum depression after my first brother was born. She would not really leave their room, barely took care of the kids. I ended up stepping up young and taking care of them, as our dad was barely ever home. He got off work at a reasonable time, but would hit the bars or go out with friends. I suspect there were some affairs sprinkled in there. Oh man, that is rough. You were only 12? Basically a kid yourself, and suddenly you're taking care of 3 little ones? That's not normal at all. Your parents were treating you like a co-parent, which is a big no. My parents always treated this as normal. When I was 15 and my baby sister was born, my mom had some complications and passed away within a few weeks following her birth. Seriously? That is heartbreaking. I am so sorry you had to go through that at such a young age. From there, I took on even more responsibility. I managed to convince my dad to put the kids in daycare at the very least, as I had to go to school. But I was the one bringing them there, picking them up, and taking care of them. Even after I turned 18, I went to college locally so I could stay close to home and take care of the kids. My dad would leave me money, but would often disappear for days to weeks at a time. I was raising my younger siblings. So let me just say this. You were their father. Your dad was just a roommate who occasionally left you some cash. You sacrificed your entire teenage and young adult life for them. That is the definition of a selfless hero. Seriously. Somehow, I met someone who was willing to put up with all of this, and my girlfriend began helping me. Thank goodness for your wife. That's a true partner right there. When my siblings were 7, 6, and 4, my dad actually tried getting sober, being around more, etc., and I was supportive of this. However, my brothers and sister did not trust him. They barely knew him as he was not around. All they wanted was me. I tried to encourage them to go to our dad with stuff, but they always went to me. I did not want them to feel abandoned, so I would do what they asked. Dad got annoyed and went back to his old ways. See, that is the problem. He made it about him and his feelings instead of understanding that trust takes time, especially for kids who were basically abandoned. He gave up instantly. This happened 2 more times, but the process was always the same. Kids did not trust him, they kept coming to me, and eventually I stopped telling them to go to our dad. Dad would start drinking again and start being gone often.
I hear you. You can't force a relationship, and you can't abandon the kids who rely on you just to try and force them to trust someone who hasn't earned it. When I was 25, I married my wife, and we moved into our house. I was hesitant to leave my siblings and tried to be around as much as possible for them. They ended up spending a lot of time with us at our place. 3 years ago, they came for spring break, and then after that, just never went home. My dad eventually signed custody over. Wow, what a relief for you all. That's a huge step. And the fact that your dad let them stay for 3 years before officially signing anything, that shows how little he actually cared about raising them. My siblings are now 18, 17, and 15. My dad is sober again, and I have left it up to the kids on if they want to see him. 18-year-old does. 17 and 15-year-olds do not. My dad is irritated yet again and said that it is my fault the younger two refused to see him. He claims I should have backed off completely when they were younger. He is trying to twist this around and blame you for his failure. That is a classic move by someone who can't take responsibility for their own choices. He thinks you should have abandoned them so they would be forced to go to him. That is insane. I told him that it is a lame excuse and that he could have tried harder, refused to let me take over, and he most importantly could have made them come back home 3 years ago. My dad is insistent that I am the problem here. My wife is on my side. The kids are as well, even the 18-year-old. But a lot of our extended family agree that I am the problem. So, am I the asshole? Absolutely not. You are the exact opposite of an asshole. You are a truly amazing brother who stepped in when both of your parents failed your siblings. Your dad is angry because you are the living proof of his decades of failure. He knows he messed up, and it's easier for him to blame you for being too good than to admit he was a bad father. The reason the younger kids don't want to see him has nothing to do with you taking over. It has everything to do with him never being there. You did not take over. He abandoned his children, and you saved them. Ignore the extended family. They're likely just trying to keep the peace and placate the addict who's finally sober. You raised 3 wonderful human beings. You deserve all the praise in the world.
All right, this is a classic conflict. Friends and driving can be tricky, especially when jobs are involved. Let's dig in. Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend stranded after she showed up late for the 3rd time? Hey guys, I am 23 and I drive a small Honda Accord, and I usually give my friend Tiana, who's 22, rides to work since we live close by and start work around the same time. We both agreed that she helps with gas every 2 weeks, and I pick her up on my way. It worked fine for the first month without any problems. That's a great arrangement. It's totally fair. She gets a ride, you get help with gas. Sounds perfect initially. After the first month, she started running late very frequently. Every single time. I would text her, I'm outside, and she would take 10 or 15 minutes to come out, sometimes even longer. I have tried being patient, but I kept showing up late to work because of it. My boss even noticed once, which is not a good sign. So I decided to talk to her about it. Oh, see, this is where the nice favor turns into a big stressor for you. 10 or 15 minutes every time. That is a huge chunk of time when you're trying to get to work. Your job is way more important than her habit of being late. Let's take a knee and down yinsa. Last Friday, I warned her that I would only wait 5 minutes because I could not afford another late mark to risk my job. That's a perfectly reasonable boundary. You communicated it clearly and gave her a heads up. What else could you do? When I pulled up, I texted her, here. She said, 1 sec. After waiting 5 minutes, I called, but she did not answer. I waited another minute and called again, and same thing. Einen left. You did exactly what you said you were going to do. You even gave her the benefit of an extra minute. She should have been ready. 1 sec means you are walking out the door, not still putting on makeup.
About 15 minutes later, she spammed my phone with tons of messages saying I abandoned her, I'd made her walk in the heat, and that she missed the first part of her shift. Wait, hold up. You didn't abandon her. She forced you to leave by not being ready. And she missed the first part of her shift because of her own actions. That is classic deflection right there. I told her I was sorry, but I had already warned her multiple times. She said I should have waited because that is what friends do. Oh, please. Friends don't jeopardize their friend's job because they can't be bothered to be ready on time. Friends respect each other's time and employment. She is not being a good friend here. She has not spoken to me since, and one of our mutual friends said I was kind of harsh and could have just waited 5 extra minutes to keep the peace. This mutual friend is missing the point. It is not about 5 extra minutes, it's about respect and her making you late repeatedly. If you waited 5 more, she would expect 10 more next time. It's a never-ending cycle. Now I'm wondering if I was too rigid about it. I know life happens, but I feel like she just did not respect my time. Am I the a-hole for leaving without her after she made me late so many times? Absolutely not. You are not the a-hole, not even close. You set a firm, fair, and reasonable boundary after her repeated disrespect. You gave her a clear 5-minute deadline with the warning that your job was at risk. She still prioritized whatever she was doing over your job. You made the responsible thing for yourself and your employment. Your friend Tiana is being completely self-centered and refusing to take responsibility for her lateness. She needs to understand that a favor is not a guarantee, and your time is valuable. You made the right call. Hey, okay, I hope you are enjoying. Please subscribe to your Careless Only channel, and many like the video. It will help me a lot in bringing crazy stories like this to you daily. 5th story. This sounds like a weird, tiny family conflict over something ridiculous, like coffee. Let's hear it. Am I the a-hole for the amount of syrup I use in front of my niece? My 25 male, sister 37, brother-in-law 39, and niece 9 are staying at my apartment right now since their house was flooded. Wait, their house was flooded? Yikes, that's a major stressor right there. You're already a huge hero for letting them stay with you. I try to be a good example for my niece. No alcohol or smoking, have fruits every day and vegetables nearly as often. That's really sweet of you. It shows you care about her and her well-being. Good uncle points right there. What my sister does not like is the amount of vanilla-flavored syrup I'd put in my latte. I use half a tablespoon of the stuff per cup and drink 1 cup each morning. Okay, half a tablespoon? That is like barely any syrup. I definitely use way more than that in my coffee. Haha. My sister, who is a doctor, said I am setting a bad example for this. She only uses half a teaspoon of syrup and said I should do the same if I care about my niece and want her to have healthy habits when older. Wait, what? A doctor is lecturing you about half a tablespoon of syrup? Is she serious right now? That is such a ridiculously small difference. She is really focusing on the tiniest thing. You are not the a-hole. This is honestly hilarious. You are doing a ton of amazing things. You're giving your family a place to stay after a disaster, and you're actively modeling no smoking or drinking and yes to fruits and vegetables. That's huge. A tiny amount of syrup in your 1 cup of coffee a day is not going to corrupt your 9-year-old niece's habits. Your sister is probably super stressed from the flood and is picking the most meaningless battle possible because she's on edge. Just ignore her on this one. You are a great uncle. Maybe ask her, hey, is my half tablespoon of syrup really worse than the stress of having no home right now? Oh, that'd be awkward.
Hey. Okay, let's get into this 6th story.
This sounds like a case of a joke that totally bombed. Oh, the awkwardness. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend she's too pretty to cry over math? Throwaway. I, 21 female, and my girlfriend, 21 female, are in the same math elective. Lately, she has been thinking about quitting it because it was too hard for her. Last night, I came into our bedroom and saw her crying. Oh, that's rough. Math can be so frustrating, especially when you're stressing over quitting a class. That's real distress. I didn't really know how to comfort her, so I told her she is too pretty to be crying over math. It was her type of humor. I thought she would laugh. Oh, no. I can see where you're going with the joke, trying to lighten the mood, but when someone is actually crying, that's usually the worst time for a joke, especially that joke. Instead, she looked really angry and told me to fudge off and said I sounded like a man. Ooh, wow, that is a big reaction. That comment about sounding like a man tells you exactly why she was so upset. It's a very old, sexist kind of comment, even if it was meant as a joke. So, am I the a hole? If I am, what can I do to fix it? I am kind of getting iced out right now. Yes, honestly, you are the a-hole here, but only because your timing and choice of words were really poor. You had great intentions, wanting to cheer her up, but that phrase, too pretty to cry, is a really common, awful cliche. It minimizes her feelings and implies that her looks are more important than her intelligence, her education, or the frustration she's feeling. That's probably what she meant by saying you sounded like a man. It's a very old, sexist kind of comment, even if it was meant as a joke. Oh boy, this is one of those classic pre-wedding dilemmas. This is definitely going to cause some drama. Let's get into it. Am I the a-hole for ruining my fiance's box party? My 37 female, fiance 35 male, has his bucks party this weekend. We'll be 18 guys, including some friends flying in from intrastate, mostly guys in their mid-30s and some older like his dad and uncles. 18 guys. Wow, that's a big event. And his dad and uncles are going to be there. That's important context. The main issue is about strippers. I have expressly told him how much it makes me uncomfortable and that I would prefer for that not to be something that occurred. He has essentially said that it is out of his control and is basically at the mercy of the guys organizing it. That response, "it's out of my control," is a huge red flag. He's 35 years old. He's not a teenager. He absolutely has control. He can tell his friends, hey, we are doing X, Y, and Z, but no strippers. My future wife and I agreed on this. That's what a grown-up fiancé does. I think this response is pretty immature and basic. You are absolutely right. It is immature. He is prioritizing avoiding a minor awkward conversation with his friends over respecting his future wife's feelings. Anyhow, with it fast approaching, it is really giving me doubts about whether this is even someone I should be marrying if they would disregard my feelings like this. I'm wondering if I should contact the guys organizing the bucks directly and let them know that if they have private strippers at the Airbnb, then I will seriously probably call off the wedding. Wait, whoa. Calling them directly and making that kind of threat would cause a nuclear explosion of drama. That would absolutely ruin the party and make you look pretty extreme, even if your feelings are valid. Your fiance is the main problem. He is the one getting married to you, not his friends. He is the one who needs to communicate and uphold the boundary. His refusal to do so is the core issue here because it shows a lack of commitment to your partnership over a minor social hurdle. The threat strategy. The threat of calling off the wedding should be made directly to your fiance, not to his friends. If this issue is genuinely a deal breaker that is making you question the whole marriage, and it sounds like it is,
then you need to have a very serious final conversation with him before the party starts. Okay, here's my advice. Tell your fiancé one more time, clearly and calmly, I need you to call the guy organizing the party right now and tell him that if strippers show up at the Airbnb, I will not be marrying you. This is a non-negotiable line for me, and your refusal to set this boundary makes me question our entire relationship. This is your choice, and it needs to be your communication. If he still refuses to talk to his friends, that tells you everything you need to know about his priorities. You don't have to ruin the party. He is making the choice to risk the wedding all on his own.
Guys, if you are still here, you are the real love. I love you for that, and maybe, just maybe, subscribe to this channel, and let's make it one of the best Reddit channels on YouTube. Let's make our community the best on YouTube. Okay, this is going to be the last story, but most epic as well. But before that, please tell me, where are you watching from, and what time is it there? This one is about friends, competition, and maybe a little bit of bruised ego. Let's see if you were too intense or if your friends were too sensitive. I'm definitely laughing along with this because I'm very competitive too. Am I the asshole for beating my friends in a competition that we begged them not to join? So I want to start by saying my boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 26 female, are very competitive. We discovered this during a company relay race years ago and have since competed in all kinds of events like paintball, laser tag, triathlons, etc. Most of our friends know how intense we can get, so they usually sit out unless it is for fun. Okay, so you guys are the intense, athletic couple, got it? And your friends already know your deal. Recently, we invited our friends to a paintball tournament, not to compete, but to hang out. These events often have a little bar area or food stall where people can watch from an elevated platform, kind of like Hunger Games. One of our friends and her boyfriend decided they wanted to compete too, even though they had never played paintball before. We warned them it was not for beginners and that most people take it seriously since there is a cash prize for the top 3 teams. You gave them a clear warning. And with a cash prize in the line, that changes the whole vibe from fun friend activity to serious competition. Your hands are clean there. After like a week, we eventually told them straight up that we did not think they should compete. They got annoyed and said they were adults and could make their own choices, so we backed off. Good for you for standing your ground initially, and then also knowing when to back off. They made their choice as adults. Come tournament day, they were the only beginners and got wrecked in the 2 practice rounds. Then they ended up against us in the first official match. Random, by the way. We did not go easy on them, and the match ended in under 4 minutes. 4 minutes, whoa, that's fast, but that's what happens in serious tournaments. You can't just slow down and let people hit you because they're your friends. We made it to the final round, but ended up listening to a team wearing predator masks. Yeah, we did not stand a chance. Predator masks. That right there proves this was a serious competition, not a casual hangout. It wasn't just you guys being too competitive. Everyone was intense. Afterward, we went to the bar area, but noticed our friends we were competing with were not there. Someone told us they had left. Which we understood. Sometimes after losing, you do not want to hang out. We enjoyed the rest of the day and went home. Later that evening, they called us upset, saying we should have gone easier on them because we are friends and should have at least let them get a shot in. I reminded them when we had warned them and that we treated them like we would any other team. Safe to say, the call did not end well. They expected you to throw the game for them? You were competing for a cash prize. That is crazy. The next day, she posted on Facebook saying we tried too hard to meet them, only to not win in the end, making us seem like bad friends who were trying to embarrass them. Oh, the social media drama. Cringe. That's a super petty move. They're trying to see a face by blaming you. Now, some friends and family are piling on, saying we're selfish. Others who were at the event say our friends are overreacting. I didn't think we did anything wrong, but now with all these other people
people in my ear, I'm second guessing myself. So am I the asshole? My take on this is you are not the asshole here, and the people piling on are completely missing the facts of the situation. Your friends are being extremely childish and entitled. You gave ample warning. You told them repeatedly that this was a serious tournament, not a casual game. Money was involved. When there is a cash prize, you play to win. End of discussion. They put money on the table, which means they agreed to the intensity. They made the choice, they were warned, they insisted, and they paid the ender fee. They're adults who made a poor choice to enter a serious competition as total beginners. The consequences of that choice, losing quickly, are 100% on them. Your friends' Facebook post is to support them to turn their embarrassment into outrage at you. You owe them nothing more than the warnings you already gave. Let the friends and family who weren't there talk, the ones who don't know the truth. Tell your friends to stick to casual games next time and to stop trying to control how you compete.
Wow, we got through a lot of crazy stories today. Before you go, I want to say I'm really trying my best to bring these stories to life. Aww. If you enjoyed hearing these absurd and intense family dramas and you like my style, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could tap that subscribe button right now. Every single subscription helps me keep doing this, even if I sound a little wonky sometimes. If you know anyone else who loves listening to these "Am I the a-hole" type of stories, please share this with them and help me find my like-minded people. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.